Good morning and welcome you all to the CBC online classes. Today we are discussing about the first chapter of class 9 social science economics. The name of the chapter is The Story of Village Palampur. The purpose of the study of this chapter is to study some basic concepts of production. And we are doing this study based on the study of an hypothetical village known as Palampur. The study of this Palampur will take us through some basic concepts of production and some different types of economic activities. Look at this difference between the farming and non-farming activities. The main activity in this village is farming, and activities related to agriculture is known as farming activity. Activities other than agriculture is known as non-farming activity. There are two types of activities in this village, farming and non-farming activities. Then examples of farming activities, cultivation, and non-farming activities are manufacturing, transport, shopkeeping, etc. In short, farming activity means activities related to agriculture, and non-farming activities means activities other than agriculture. So in this village, we can see activities like agriculture, shopkeeping, transport, communication, many things are there. So from this example, we can come to an explanation that there are different types of activities in this village. One is farming activity and another is non-farming activities. Some basic concepts of production and the difference between many economic activities, farm activities and non-farm activities, economic and non-economic activities, and all these we can study from the story of an imaginary village named Palampur. Palampur is well connected with the neighboring villages and towns. Raikanch, a big village, it's about 3 kilometers away from Palampur. And all weather roads connects to the village Raikanch and further on to the nearest small towns of Shahpur. Many kinds of transport are visible on this road, starting from bullock carts, tongas, buggies, and motor vehicles, motorcycles, jeeps, tractors, trucks. Many types of vehicles can be seen on the roads of this village. This village has about 450 families belonging to several different castes. The 80 upper caste families own the majority of land in the village. Their houses, some of them quite large, are made of brick with cement plastering. The SCs, that is Dalits, comprise 1/3 of the population and live in one corner of the village and in much smaller houses, some of which are made of mud and straw. Most of the houses have electric connections. Electricity powers all the tubewells in the fields and is used in various types of small business. Palampur has 2 primary schools and 1 high school. There is a primary health center run by the government and 1 primary dispensary where the sick are treated. The description above shows that Palampur has fairly well developed system of roads, transport, electricity, irrigation, schools and health center. In short, Palampur is a developed village because all the basic facilities necessary for the life of human beings are there in this village. Whether there are farm activities or non-farm activities, we need some basic requirements for producing goods and services. These basic requirements for producing goods and services is known as factors of production. It is also known as inputs. That means for producing any goods, we need some requirements. That basic requirement is known as factors of production. It is also known as inputs. There are 4 factors of production. For producing a thing, producing a good, we need minimum 4 factors of production. And these are land, labor, capital, and organizer or producer or entrepreneur. First one, land. Land and economics means not only the surface of the soil, but also all the free gifts of nature. That means economics, land means the soil and all the free gifts of nature which are useful for production comes under the category of land. Example, soil, water, air, all the free gifts comes under in land category. Second, labor. Mentally or physically, those who are able and willing to do work. A person should be mentally and physically able and he should be ready to do work. That person is known as labor. Third factor of production is capital. Capital is the man-made instrument of production. Anything made by human being, and if it is used in production, and that is known as what? Capital. For example, machine, it is made by human being and we are using in production. So machine is a capital. Money, building, all are capital because it is made by human being and we are using in production. The last factor of production is organizer, or it is also known as producer or entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is a person who combines these three factors of production. He combines land, labor and capital and he does the production. He is the person behind the production. He is combining the factors of production and he is doing the production. That person is known as what? Organizer. These are the four factors of production. Factors of production of inputs. When we transform these inputs or factors of production into output, that transformation of inputs into output is known as production. So production means transformation of inputs into output. Output actually, it is the result of the process of production. That means it is the goods and services what we are getting after the production is known as output. So transformation of inputs into output is known as production. There is a functional relationship between inputs and output. If inputs are there, we can produce output. And for producing output, we need inputs. That means there is a functional relationship between inputs and output. That functional relationship between inputs and output is known as production function. Production function can be written as Q is equal to function of K, L, etc. That means Q is equal to output, F is equal to function, K means capital, L means labor, etc. That means by the process of these capital, labor and factors of production, we will get the output Q. This is the functional relation. This functional relationship is known as production function. There are different types of capital. There are mainly four types of capital: fixed capital, variable capital, working capital and human capital. First one, fixed capital. The capital which remain fixed, whatever may be the volume of output. That means whether we increase output or decrease output, the capital which remain fixed, it will never increase. That capital is known as what? Fixed capital. Example, building, machine, etc. For example, in our school there are two buildings. Whether the number of students are 500 or it increased to 1000, that building will remain 2 as same. That means this fixed number of capitals are known as fixed capital. But when we come to variable capital, this capital which vary with output, according to output it will change. That means when output increases, this input, this capital will increase. When output reduces, we have to reduce the number of capitals. This example is labor. For example, there are 500 students in our school. So the number of teachers required for teaching these 500 students are suppose 100. And for increasing, when we increase the number of students to 1000, the number of teachers required for teaching these students will become as 150. That means whenever output increases, this capital should be increased, and whenever output reduces, capital should be reduced. This type of capital which vary with output is known as what? Variable capital. And working capital. Working capital means capital needed for day-to-day working of the business. Each and every business we need daily requirements. That daily requirements like money and raw material. These daily requirements for the day-to-day working of the business is known as what? Working capital. And last one, human capital. Human capital means skilled, educated, healthy and trained working population is known as what? Human capital. All population is not human capital. Population will become human capital when they get training, when they get education, when they get health and when they become proper skilled trained working population. That population is known as what? Human capital. This will come under the category of 15 to 59 age group. This is known as what? Human capital. These are the various types of capital. So production is possible only by the combination of factors of production like land, labor, physical capital and organizer. By the combination of these four factors of production, only we can produce goods and services. See, look at this example of land in Palampur. In Palampur, the land is fixed. That is the first factor of production in Palampur. It's fixed. Farming is the main production activity in Palampur. 75% of the people who are working are depending on farming for their livelihood. They could be farmers or farm laborers. There is a basic constraint in raising farm production because land area under cultivation is practically fixed. Since 1960 in Palampur, there has been no expansion in land area under cultivation. By then, some of the wastelands in the village had been converted to cultivable land. There exists no further scope to increase farm production by bringing new land under cultivation. That means the first requirement of production, the first factor of production is land, and land is fixed. We can't increase the land area for production. Whenever the demand for production increases, we have to use the production methods to increase the goods and services or production of goods and services using the fixed land resources. That is a question almost all economies of the world are facing right now. How can we increase the production from the same piece of land? Because land is fixed. From the fixed land resources, how can we increase production? Is there a way one can grow more crops on the same piece of land? Yes. We can apply many methods to produce more crops on the same piece of land. For example, multiple cropping. The first method to increase production from the same piece of land is multiple cropping. Multiple cropping means cultivation of more than one crop on a same piece of land during a year. It is the most common way of increasing production on a given piece of land. In this village, Palampur, they are cultivating at least two main crops. Many are growing potato as a third crop in the past 15 years to 20 years. The second one is applying modern methods of production, like use of chemical fertilizers, pesticides, modern irrigation facilities, in short, the application of Green Revolution. The Green Revolution, introduced by the government of India in 1960s, that is exactly in 1965. It was one of the most important modern method applied on the field of agriculture to increase production from the same piece of land. The Green Revolution in the late 1960s introduced Indian farmers to the cultivation of wheat and rice using high-yielding variety seeds. Compared to the traditional seeds, HYV seeds promise to produce much greater amount of grains on a single plant. As a result, the same piece of land would now produce far larger quantities of food grains than was possible earlier. So the Green Revolution used many modern methods of production. First one, use of HYV seeds, high-yielding variety seeds. Second, use of modern farming methods. Third one, use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides. Fourth one, use of modern irrigation facilities, and last one, modern tools of agricultural production. Green Revolution first introduced in Punjab, Haryana, and Western Uttar Pradesh. The farmers in these regions set up tubewells, use HIV seeds, they use chemical fertilizers, pesticides for farming. Some of them bought farm machines like tractors and threshers, which made plowing and harvesting faster. They were rewarded with the high yields of wheat. In the initial stages, the growth registered only in the field of wheat. That's why Green Revolution sometimes renamed as Wheat Revolution because of high growth in the field of wheat production. Later, the increase in production can be attained on the field of rice production also. So that means the Green Revolution was one of the most important modern farming method applied by the government of India for the production of agriculture and to attain self-sufficiency in agriculture production. Will the land sustain over a long period of time? No. Land being a natural resource, it's necessary to be very careful in its use. Scientific reports indicates that the modern farming methods have overused the natural resources piece. That means there exists over exploitation of the land resources in the world. In many areas, green revolution is associated with loss of soil fertility due to increased use of chemical fertilizers. Also, continuous use of groundwater for tube well irrigation has reduced the water table below the ground. Environmental resources like soil, fertility, and groundwater are built up over many years. Once destroyed, it's very difficult to restore them. So, we must take care of the environment to ensure future development of agriculture. By this, we are concluding the first part of this chapter, and in our second part, we will discuss about the detailed description of the farming and non-farming activities of the village Palampur. And from this, we will study how can we increase production on the same piece of land. What are the methods used to increase agricultural production? So many details we will study in our second part. Thank you all.